Catherine Falk. Thank you for joining us today. Whenever you're here, you are in good company. This season, we are partnering with the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce on a new series called Leading by Example, where we will highlight important topics in leadership and the work regional leaders are doing to make Virginia the best place to live, work, and do business. And the first group we will highlight are champions of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today. Her name is Deb Gandy. Deb is the managing director of Chevy Chase Trust Investment Advisors, where she is responsible for advising clients in the areas of investment management, financial and estate planning, and trust administration. She oversees the delivery of services to clients and coordinates their legal, accounting, and other advisors. Prior to Chevy Chase Trust, Deb was a director at Citi Private Bank, and before that, a senior vice president and manager at U.S. Trust Company. Deb has also held positions at Wachovia Bank and Trust and the Royal Bank of Scotland in New York. Deb graduated from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and she serves as the vice chairman of the board of directors of the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce. She's also a member of the board of Arlington Community Foundation and chaired the board of Lead Virginia. She also serves on the board of Signature Theater. And Deb was also highlighted recently by Forbes magazine and Washingtonian magazine as a top person in her field. So we're thrilled to welcome her today. Deb, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell us about your passion for diversity, equity, and inclusion and where that came from.
Well, in my career, I've had many firsts. Going back to my younger years when I was the first African American cheerleader when I was in middle school, to in my professional career where I was the first African American woman to be hired by U.S. Trust Company in business development. And of course, as you well know, I will be the first African American woman to lead the chamber when I become the chair next year. I'm proud of these accomplishments, but my passion is to stop being the first and to pave the way for many seconds and thirds so it's no longer a focal point in our society.
Absolutely. Wow, that is amazing. Um, I know your company, you're proud of what they are doing in this area. Tell us what Chevy Chase Trust is doing right. And are there any best practices that you can share?
I'm so proud of our firm. Right now, as we speak, 76% of our senior management team, let me repeat that, 76% of our senior management team are women and persons of color. This includes our chief fiduciary officer, our chief investment officer, head of institutional sales, head of client services, head of financial planning, head of marketing, our general counsel, and our chief client services and operations officer. So we have done a lot of things right. 32% of our firm are persons of color. This was not something that we had to be told to do, if you would. It's ingrained in our culture. And the makeup that I just shared with you actually has been in place for quite some time before you had as much emphasis as you do now. But we are extraordinarily proud that we look for best practices of bringing the best to our firm. Because as you know, there is a correlation between having persons of diverse backgrounds and your bottom line. So we are just extraordinarily proud of what we've accomplished here.
That's wonderful. What do you think business leaders can do to positively impact diversity, equity, and inclusion today and for the future?
As I just mentioned, it is so extraordinarily important for the bottom line. And business leaders must educate themselves on the best practices to compete successfully in our current landscape. And DE&I has to be a critical part of that success. In educating yourself, looking at best practices of what other companies are doing, learning through whether it's an association, an academic institution, but again, educating yourself on best practices, making sure your HR personnel uh, are very well. I can't get the words out.
First,
Thank you. In this area because it's so critically important for our success. And one thing, quite frankly, that I feel is critically important is being involved in the chamber's diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. We have, as you well know, an advisory committee that focuses just on this type of thing. And I think it is an incredible value to chamber members to have this resource at their beckoning call, if you would, to learn about best practices and what they can do in order to enhance their own companies.
absolutely. And you know well, because you've been leading the governance review efforts at the Northern Virginia Chamber, that there's so much more we are doing. And we have put into our strategic plan, including the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Board of Advisors and a new council we're going to create to open that opportunity up for other companies and people to share and grow in that area of education. And it's also a part of our focus in attracting new board members, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, Catherine, you said it.
Representation matters, right?
It does. It matters a great deal. And you said that so perfectly. I'm so proud of what we're doing at the Chamber. And as you well know, we did undergo an incredible initiative. It seems to me like it was taken, a small amount of time, although we put a lot of work into making sure that we are structured ourselves to be in a good position, not only to help our members, but the Chamber itself to be an institution that follows best practices in this area. So it's critically important that our board looks that way, that we represent other community where we work, live, and play. It's important that we bring those diverse voices to our table because that's what helps to strengthen the chamber. So
Absolutely.
we
And
are, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, and absolutely the Northern Virginia community is so diverse.
Yes,
So
yes,
we
it
really
is.
need to ensure that we're being reflective of the community that we serve.
Absolutely. Again, you could not have said it better. And for us to be a leader in that area is one of our very high priorities. And to structure ourselves from our just strategic plan to refocusing our committees to make sure that we're endorsing our strategic plan. These are critical pieces of the chamber. And I think those who are members will benefit greatly from all of the practices that we're putting into play, and that it will be clearly the voice of Northern Virginia business as we reflect the community that we serve.
That's awesome. How can our viewers learn more about what the Northern Virginia Chamber is doing in their area of diversity?
I think it would be best if they would go to Northern Virginia, novachamber.org and click on DEI. And that will share all the opportunities that the Chamber makes available to individuals who are interested in learning more about DEI in their companies. And I hope everybody will go there and take advantage of this great opportunity that we offer.
Awesome. And before we leave, tell me your three faves. I want to know your favorite book, your favorite extracurricular activity, and your favorite restaurant.
Okay, so favorite book is Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkinson.
Love that.
Me too. Favorite restaurant is 2941 in Arlington. And what was the third one?
Extracurricular?
Oh, hands down, this won't come to anybody as a surprise. Theater. I can't get enough of it. And of course, sitting on the board of Signature Theater, which is a Tony Award winning theater. It's the best of musical theater. And but I, quite frankly, love all theater. It doesn't matter where it is. I want to be on the front row. So that's my passion.
Awesome. Deb Gandy, thank you so much for joining us today to share your insight and your passion. And thanks for all you do.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be your guest.
And thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day.